Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for June 17th. So, there's been like a lot of chitter chatter this week about a book that has been written by Trump's niece, Mary Trump. She is the 55-year-old daughter of Fred Trump Jr. So, Trump is her uncle. Um, Her father, as I'm sure know, died. I think it was in '81 from complications from alcoholism. Basically, there was a feud that went on in the early 2000s about um, the grandparents Fred and Mary's will. So the way it was set out was that I guess each child would get so much, and then the grandchildren were all going to get a different, that so much, but a different amount, right? And because Fred Jr. was dead, the other siblings took his portion and absorbed it into theirs. And his son and daughter were saying that's not fair. If he had been alive, that money would have gone to him, and then through his estate come to us. And so there was a big feud between the family and lawsuits. And I don't have the results of what happened there, but there's definitely some really bad blood. It strikes me just from the little bit I read on her, she really is probably like the Trump family, maybe black sheep, right? She's a staunch Democrat. She says that the night Trump won the presidency was the most, I think she's used the word humiliated, maybe, night of her life, embarrassed night of her life. So you get the point. She's not exactly his number one fan. And so on August 11th, out comes a book that sounds like it's going to have a lot of really, really good gossip in it and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Apparently there are conversations that she depicts in this book between herself and Trump's sister, Mary. I think it's Mary Beth. She was the one who was like the judge. That where both of them aren't saying very nice things about Trump. So anyway, yeah. So I want to read on her, right? The name of the book is called Too Much and Never Enough. Sorry, my notes are over here, and you know what? Reading my writing sometimes is unbelievably difficult. So there was a couple of comments that had been made in my comment section about this book. I hadn't heard about it. And then there was, kind of the little fuss that was going on kind of in the media. And so, I wanted to kind of drill down on her. But when I thought about it, when I thought, what, that would be a really good topic to read on. I heard the words, revenge is best served cold. So let's take a look at Mary Trump and see what kind of havoc she is going to bring down on the Trump family, and and the re-election bid, because that her book gets released very shortly, a week or so, maybe two, right before the Republican convention. So people are going to be abuzz with whatever it says in the book. I'm going to stop talking. Let's drill down on Mary Trump, the niece. Here we go. Come on down. Niece Mary Trump, niece Mary Trump, niece Mary Trump. Okay, well, she definitely falls into the category of the powerful women that are going to bring Trump down. Now, there are some readers who have said that It was one person, and they could never get a real clear handle on who it was. A lot of people thought it was Pelosi. I never saw it as one person. I saw it as sort of a grouping of dynamic female energy that was just going to sort of continue to roll against him and roll against him. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, right? Is Mary Trump the one person who's actually going to bring him to his knees? Or is she kind of like a big brick on a straw house? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stacked against him already. Could she be the one that sort of renders, like, a killing blow, so to speak? Okay, so but she is definitely part of that really strong, powerful female energy that is really truly opposed to the Trump presidency. Okay? Part of the reason behind the book is because she's angry and she's hurt, and she feels as if she sort of has the right to kind of air whatever needs to be aired in an attempt for her to almost find that feeling of justice. There was something else that was done when this whole court case thing happened. One of the things that happened was that Donald Trump and the other siblings withdrew some sort of a medical benefit that was for her brother, Fred Jr. the Third or something. So that put her brother in a precarious situation. So now you have a brother and sister who feel they have been wronged. They feel like their name has been just destroyed. They feel like, they were ripped off, frankly, by their aunts and uncles. And so it's not really, it is revenge, okay? But it's more than that. It's almost, I feel like it's like a cleaning of the palate, all right? She needs to get this message out because it's almost like she needs it off her chest. She needs the background stories to be told, because the feeling is that her father was never sort of given the understanding or respect or his due as he should have been. And, it's always difficult for a child of any age to lose a parent. But he was 80, no, I think he was 48 when he died. And so he was really young, and that's even a harder blow, okay? So and now, as time has gone on, her and her brother there's some bad blood between them. There's some bad blood, I think, between her and her mother, and the aunts and uncles. Like, okay, so she's definitely kind of that black sheep energy, right? She's going to fight for what she thinks she should be fighting for, and she doesn't really care. By the way, she is a psychologist and a life coach. One of the books that she wrote is, are you ready? Diagnosis, Schizophrenia. Come on. That has to give at least a couple of you a chuckle. So, it's very possible, right, that she watches her uncle and she knows exactly what the story is with this fella. Or maybe she doesn't. But either way, I'm sure that she doesn't appreciate, in fact, I know she does not appreciate what is being done to the Trump name, because as far as she's concerned, that is her name too. That is her legacy from her father and her grandfather. And, she doesn't like the fact that this Uncle Don has really, messed with them. And again, how much is enough? How much do you need to get that you yet still have to sort of steal from your family? Manipulate things so that you get even a bigger cut of the pie? Like, it was millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, okay? That estate and what they got. So, all right. She is really, really hoping that the exposure accomplishes a couple of things. One, there is the Page of Wands telling us that she really, really wants to get this off her chest. She wants it recorded. She wants people to hear her side of the story. She does not want to be silent any longer. It's as if she is saying, you know what, silence didn't get me anywhere. And so now I'm going to start talking. I'm going to set the record straight. That's what I'm doing here. She also apparently is credited for supplying a significant amount of the information in that expose that was done. I think it was in the 90s somewhere. I'm just not quite sure what portion of the decade, where there was the sort of the exposure of Trump and his sort of fraudulent lifestyle and the amount of money that he was flowing through. So she has quietly been working behind the scenes. In her own way, I suppose, to try to get her message out, the information out. You know, nobody knows family like family, right? And then the other reason, the secondary reason, is it feels, there's an emotional, there's a certain emotion that she is looking to gain from this, whether it is comfort, whether it is a sense of peace, because my cards are on the table. I've told you everything I could tell you. Whether that is a sense of vindication for her father, her brother, herself, I don't know. But I am telling you that there are sort of this two-pronged reward that she is looking for. One is getting her story out, and one is sort of a feeling that she is trying to receive from doing this work, so that she can have some sort of resolution or peace, or whatever that emotion is that she's looking for. So kind of the bad news for Donald Trump is that unlike Bolton, okay, Bolton's book has people agitated because he's out there saying, oh, I knew all of this stuff, but I didn't say anything when he could have been impeached and removed from office. No, I wanted to line my own pockets. So people are a little kind of irritated with the whole Bolton book situation. So I'm not sure how that one's going to do, but frankly, it looks as if the Mary Trump book is going to actually do really, really well. So not only is it going to do well in a commercial sense, but it's going to be really powerful in terms of last minute advertising, media information. You can bet she was probably going to be doing book tours. So you're going to see her on all your favorite television stations, except I'm sure Fox, which probably isn't your favorite. But she's going to be out there telling her story, and the book is going to prove popular, okay? And in fact, it is going to bring down or cause something to end that she wants to end. And does she want this to destroy his presidency? I wouldn't go that far. But what I would say is she wants to bring an end on her continual search. Page of Wands, Page of Cups. The story she has to get out, the emotion she is looking to recover or have or gain. She wants that to come to an end. She wants this portion of her life told, put away. And if that happens to destroy, corrupt Uncle Don, I don't think she cares all that much at this point. He, because he's him, is just going to feel put upon, and he's just going to feel like nobody understands him, and he's going to scream that his niece is full of fake news, and that's what he does. Just a quick aside, for those of you, if you haven't heard, there was one of Trump's lawyers, I've not seen this one before, on CNN, on the Sunday shows. Now, so CNN released a poll that said that Biden was ahead of Trump by 14 points. And the Trump campaign, I suppose, is threatening to sue CNN for fake news. She literally had the balls to sit there in that interview and say, well, we don't want fake news being spread about these poll numbers. I would think that you would have an obligation to tell the truth and get the story straight. I just about, fell off my chair kind of thing. Okay, so you've got the Page of Swords here now and the Nine of Swords. Okay, so, sorry, the Nine of Wands. So you've got the Page of Swords, and you know what? It's so interesting, right? She keeps getting these pages. So the Page of Swords is about correcting a wrong in this case. It is movement towards correcting a wrong. It is news or feeling about correcting a wrong. And if this book is how she feels that she is going to correct the wrong that was done, then that is what she's going to. It'll be interesting to see if the fourth page shows up in any sort of quick succession here. Okay, so the book is going to do well, and he is going to just feel put upon. He really is, he's just going to, she's fake news, and the story's all wrong, and so I guess what I'm saying is, and I think in my reading on Monday, I did talk about August sort of being a very, very difficult month for Trump. I suppose this may well be a part of it because he's going to be feeling really embattled. He's going to really feel like he doesn't know which way to turn. And there's spin, and he's going to try and talk his way around it. But really, the spin and the talking and that sort of persona has really worn thin, and people aren't interested in hearing or listening to any of it. So he's going to actually be really, really struggling. And she is going to be working her way towards satisfied. She's telling a long story. Okay, this is not a book about Trump's presidency. Okay, this is a book about her story, her grandparents, her dad, and by extension, the Trump family, as they are more broadly known, sort of publicly. All right. So this is her story. She is recounting the story of her life. And that in and of itself is going to be part of what is so fascinating, right? Because it's going to give the layman a really clear idea of a closer look at the dynamics that go on within that family. And that's going to be fascinating for a whole lot of people to take a look at. And she's going to continue to move ahead. I don't know if the White House may actually try to block it, but it's not going to be successful. This book is going to be released, and there is nothing that is going to stop it. Again, this isn't like a Bolton book where they had all these national security issues. This is a family story, and she has every right to tell her family story, and apparently she's going to move right ahead with that. And this really, is the White House going to stop her? Maybe. Is she going to stop the White House? Probably. Is the White House really, really not going to know how to spin this? Yeah, you bet. You bet. She has all the cards. She has all the cards she needs to make this thing work, to bring this thing to fruition. And frankly, she's holding on tight. She's not letting go. She's not relinquishing. So this would be one of those situations where this is somebody who really has watched the nickels and dimes, or, she hasn't handed off stuff to other people. She's been very vigilant about being in control. I think that's the word I'm trying to find. In control of this book deal, the contents of the book, the way it was released. She has been very, very hands-on, and she is not going to sort of let go until she has basically accomplished what she wants to accomplish. Okay. So the King and Queen of Swords here are interesting. I sort of am almost, I really am reading these two cards as her family. So whether that is, her aunt, the judge, I'm pretty sure her mother is still alive. Whether that is males within the Trump family, females within the Trump family, they are really opposed to this, right? I mean, they, I think, are really hoping that Trump will lose and everything will die down and they can go back to their corrupt little lives where nobody is paying very much attention to them. And they're not happy about this. They do not want this to happen. They would far prefer that the Trump name just sort of fade away. And by it coming out now, not only is she pretty much putting the last nail in the coffin of the re-election campaign, but what she is doing to the other members of her family is actually setting them up to also be exposed for their corrupt dealings. Truly, couldn't happen to a better group of people. And you know what? I would venture to say that, I don't know, could it be the Southern District of New York? I don't know who, but somebody, if they have not already started an investigation, they for sure will receive the information and start the investigation. So it's not only going to be the Donald Trump that sort of comes down, but if they can find enough evidence to go after the other Trump members, they're going to. That was part of the reason, of course, that Mary Beth Trump, the judge, when there was going to be somebody looking into family finances, her finances, she stepped down from the bench because that was less of a price than I suppose the one she would have had to pay if there was adverse publicity. Okay, so there we have that. And here is the Three of Hearts. And I don't believe at all that this pertains to Mary Trump. I really do believe, well, okay, it does sort of, in that these swords are swords that she is almost shooting through the heart to try to right this, correct this, clear her story, whatever that is. But this is also going to be what happens as a result to Trump and the Trump campaign. It's just not going to go really, really well. Doesn't kind of matter how hard they work, how much they spin it. It's just not going to work. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for him. Yeah, so she's going to, I think, be fine. She may end up being ostracized from her family, sort of, for the rest of her life or for a good portion going forward. But honestly, from the sound of it, she was already ostracized. So what this does is it really, for her, I think, energetically, it feels like it's going to allow her to sort of carry on with her life the way she has been, but carry on with it with her name cleared and her story told. But it's going to make it very, very difficult for some of the other Trumps. There's going to be a lot that gets exposed. It's like the stories are going to be told, but the insider information, that's heading towards an investigation. Yeah. In some ways, she is making the sacrifice of her privacy by writing this book, by publicizing this, but she is doing it so that she literally no longer feels trapped by the Trump name. She feels unburdened. She's going to feel free. She can see clearly. It is, the opposite. Okay, I'm reading this card like really, really strongly opposite. So she is doing this to break out of the bonds that sort of tie her into a place that she doesn't want to be tied in. And so whatever sacrifice she pays for that, she's more than willing to pay the price. It's sort of the bottom line. Lots of secrets are going to come out. She's happy to tell them too. She feels that she got a raw deal, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with her. Not that my opinion matters, but she just feels that the family has created such a illusion and delusion around themselves that there is actually no honesty or clarity about the family and what they were, where they came from, etc. And so she's really ready to just put it all out there and say, this is my story. You can't stop me from telling my story. Oh, am I going to talk about the fact that, my aunts and uncles are horrible, corrupt people who tried to screw me and my sick brother, out of money? Yeah, she can tell that story. In fact, good for her. Oh, and the world's going to love her story. The world's going to be happy and here. Oh no, this is a night. And it's going to be well received, and people are going to be talking about it. And there's going to be a lot of fuss and scuttlebutt around it. And she's holding her ground. She really is. She's going to hold her ground. She's going to say, you know what? This is my truth. This is my story. I have every right to say it, to defend it, and it's mine. It's my story, and I can tell it however I want. And that's exactly what she's going to do. This is a woman who actually has a fair amount of inner strength. She's not fake. That's the word I want to use. Her personality isn't like fake. It's not manufactured like Ivanka's. She has a fair bit of clarity of who she is, what she is, and what she wants, her life to look like going forward. And we've got the next two cards again talking about her shattering the illusions, right? That's part of her function here. She's trying to shatter those illusions. She's trying to get the story out. And if that puts people in an emotionally into emotional upheaval, that's kind of not her problem. That's kind of not her story. And frankly, she's very clear about the fact that that's not her problem or her story. And ultimately, she's going to come out of this. She's going to come out of this the winner with the money. And there's old Donald Trump. And so this is a really interesting way of reading this. But compare literally the size of the pentacles. This is what Trump is going to have. That's what she's going to have. So ultimately, looks like she's going to win. And it looks like she is going to have a tremendous impact on the last 6 weeks, I guess, of the election cycle. This thing comes out, no, it would be longer than that because it comes out in the middle of August, so September, October, so 10 weeks, I guess, of the election cycle. That's not a lot of time to rebound or recover. And truly, if things continue the way they are and there's no reason to think they're going to change between now and when that book comes out middle of August, Trump is going to have lost even more standing in the polls. His reputation is going to be even more messed up. Continual information coming out about Trump in the coming months. It's just going to be continual, almost to the point where we can't even keep track of it, because it's coming from so many different areas. So he's going to have a really, really rough summer, but it looks like she is going to come out just fine from her little summer vacation activity. Okay. So, where would the world be without dysfunctional families, right? Some just maybe a little bit more extreme than others. All right. So that is my deep dive on Mary Trump, Donald Trump's niece. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.